What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. And we continue to see gas prices go down, but is it going to continue? It's a good question. The national average price of gas here in the United States is now down to $3.95 a gallon. So below $4 a gallon. And diesel down to 503, so almost in the fours, still $1 more a gallon, which is kind of crazy that diesel would be that much more here. But 395 here for regular, and you can see here a month ago was 457, and we're seeing a lot of gas actually even lower here. I've seen a lot of comments in the comment section of people saying gas is nearing $3 a gallon in some places. Yeah, I've actually seen some people say in their state, in their area, the gas was below $3.20, depending on your area. Of course, if you're in California, my condolences. You're well above $4. But California gas also coming down here as well. And we look at the California prices here, 536. A month ago it was 595 though. So it has come down 60 cents here as well. 623 for diesel. Remember, California has much higher gas prices because much higher state taxes, and they have a different blend to keep pollution down in California. But again, down 60 cents in a month. And will we continue to see it go down? The price of oil here below $90 a barrel for WTI crude. Brent crude below $95 a barrel. So we are continuing to see oil go down. Natural gas, not so much, as we're seeing a shortage of natural gas. Russia's cut off natural gas to most of Europe. So we're seeing the price of natural gas go higher and higher, which could present a problem for the winter. Even if we don't get any natural gas from Russia, it's raising the price of natural gas around the world, okay? Because again, we kind of, most people have realized how that works. So we're seeing a spike in natural gas prices here recently, which a lot of people use natural gas for winter heating. So natural gas is pretty expensive right now, and that could cause winter heating prices to be high. But we have seen gasoline prices and oil prices go down. I think it's over 60 days in a row now, straight. So, which is a good thing here. But will we see gas prices continue to fall? We will, unless this happens. Here, this is the Energy Secretary. Take a listen.
Gas prices mentioned there, which I know the administration is very happy to see this dip. The national average below $4 a gallon for the first time since March this week. Is the worst behind us?
Well, some of it, as you know, gas comes from oil, and oil is traded on a global market, and global events affect the price of oil. But the president has taken unprecedented steps to try to moderate supply and demand by releasing 1 million barrels per day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Our Energy Information Administration has put out their short-term energy outlook, and they are projecting at the moment, without knowing what's going to happen globally, that the price in the fourth quarter of this year per gallon will probably drop to about $3.78. So we hope that that's true, but again, it can be impacted by what's happening globally. The president has done more than any president in history to make sure that the price, insofar as he's got control, continues to decline, and has included asking for increased production, both domestically and overseas.
The Inflation Reduction Act headed to the president's desk after it passed the House along party lines Friday. There are 3 independent studies, though, that show it's actually going to have a minimal effect on inflation, and that many parts of the bill obviously don't even take effect until next year, some years later than that. So what specifically will this bill do to lower costs for Americans right now?
Oh, this first of all, immediately, people will be able to lower the fuel costs in their home. There's a 30% tax credit that you can claim in 2022 for installing energy efficient windows, heat pumps, energy efficient appliances. That is right away. And on top of that, of course, if citizens want to install solar panels on their roofs so that they can generate their own power, that's another 30% tax credit. And of course, there's the tax credits that are at the dealership for the automotive sector, for electric vehicles. So, and if you install an electric vehicle charging station in your home, you can also get a tax credit. So there's many ways that this bill lowers the costs for everyday citizens. And that's one of the reasons why it's anti-inflationary, is to lower the costs. And in addition to that, of course, lowering the cost of prescription drugs for people and capping the amount of out-of-pocket expenses that senior citizens pay for their prescription drugs, et cetera. So, and let me just say, Brianna, this president has been focused on everyday people throughout his presidency. There have been 4 bills that have been significant passed as part of his overall economic plan to lower costs and create jobs. And this bill is the biggest action on climate that any administration has passed in the history of the United States.
On the
10.
inflation,
So
on the inflation part of this, I mean, you're kind of making my point, because when we're talking about drugs, negotiating directly, having Medicaid negotiate directly, you're talking about 2026 to 2029. That's when those provisions kick in. When you're talking about a tax credit on solar panels, electric vehicles, energy efficient appliances and windows, people who are spending money on those things aren't the ones who are living paycheck to paycheck and inflation is hitting the most.
Well, actually, no. I mean, people who are able to qualify, for example, for weatherization. There was a massive increase, billions of dollars, for people who are low and moderate income to be able to weatherize their home and save money right away. Up to 30% of energy bills can be saved. That was part of the bipartisan infrastructure law, which is one of the 4 pieces of legislation that I think have the biggest impact on lowering costs for people that has been passed by this president. So no, there are some things that take effect into the future, some that take effect right now, and the president, and a lot of the energy provisions and the energy efficiency provisions are applicable right now.
The drug piece, not right now. Just want to be very clear on that. The bill includes $30 billion for nuclear energy, nuclear power plants. You just were at a nuclear power plant here in the last week. Can the country meet the administration's emissions goals without new nuclear energy?
No, nuclear has to be part of the array of clean energy technologies, zero carbon emitting baseload power. And so there is money both in the bipartisan infrastructure law as well as in the Inflation Reduction Act to incentivize the development and keeping the existing fleet online as well. So nuclear has to be a part of that.
All right, Secretary Granholm, thank you so much for spending part of your Sunday with us. We do appreciate it.
Also, with COVID still around, and actually with over 100,000 new cases per day here, with the BA.5 Omicron vaccine or virus here, still here in the U.S. The UK just became the first country to approve a dual vaccine targeting Omicron. Yeah, Britain today, here on Monday, became the first country in the world to approve a dual COVID vaccine, which tackles both the original virus and the newer Omicron variant. Yeah, Moderna's bivalent vaccine was approved by the UK's Medicine and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency and endorsed by the government's independent scientific advisory body. The updated vaccine is expected to be available to adults as a booster starting this fall. So it is something that could become available here in the US, especially because it's from Moderna. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments section. Yeah, and as crazy as it sounds, polio has been found in London, New York, and Jerusalem, and even in the water supply. Yeah, here's the details on this. Sounds kind of crazy, right? Polio, a deadly disease that used to paralyze tens of thousands of children every year, is spreading to London, New York, and Jerusalem for the first time in decades, spurring catch-up vaccination campaigns. Polio terrified parents around the world for half of the 20th century, affecting mainly children under 5. It is often asymptomatic, but can cause symptoms including fever and vomiting. Around 1 in 200 infections lead to irreversible paralysis. Among those patients, up to 10% die. There is no cure, but since a vaccine was found in the 1950s, polio is entirely preventable. Globally, the wild form of the disease has almost disappeared because of the vaccine. Afghanistan and Pakistan are now the only countries where the highly infectious disease spreads mainly through contact with fecal matters and remains endemic. But this year, imported cases were also found in Malawi and Mozambique, the first in those countries since the 1990s. There are two main forms of the polio virus along the wild type outlined above. There are also rare cases of what is known as the vaccine-derived polio. It is the second form detected in wastewater in the British capital, London, and New York in the United States, with one case of paralysis reported in New York State. Genetically similar virus has also been found in Jerusalem, Israel, and scientists are working to understand the link. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative said, while vaccine-derived polio is almost unheard of in the above location, it is a known, albeit rare, threat in other countries, causing outbreaks every year, including 415 cases in Nigeria in 2021. The wastewater findings are still a wake-up call for parents with one key message, according to scientists around the world. Protect children by getting them vaccinated. Yeah. What are your thoughts? So, we've been able to mostly eradicate polio, especially here in the United States. We really don't have any or hardly any cases here in the United States. And, it's one of those viruses we've been able to get rid of. Not all viruses we've been able to get rid of. Different viruses have different results. You look at things like the flu virus. Remember, the flu is a virus, and you look at things like COVID virus. We've not been able to eradicate, but they say the vaccine's able to lessen the symptoms if and or when you catch it. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that. A lot of people have different opinions on that. But science is constantly working on this and evolving the vaccines. Remember that even things like the polio virus, when the vaccine first came out, they had to work on that and evolve that. A lot of times when the vaccines first come out, they're not perfect the first time they come out. Vaccines have really only been out for less than 2 years. So if you think about that in the whole scheme of the big picture, um, it's not really a lot of time in the whole big picture here. We fast forward 10 years. We might, and again, you see here that they actually have new vaccines coming out here already. The virus has mutated a lot, and who knows where we could be here in several years. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. You can click here down below to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. Click the bell icon also to get notifications when we go live. Don't forget to hit the like button for us as well, and I'll keep you up to date here. You can click here to watch our newest video next, and here is our newest stimulus check video as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.